Citralekha Dasi. Stefan? Haribol, everyone. Hare Krishna. This sound is okay? This is good? Okay. Jai, I'm very happy to be here with you today and to speak about the scriptures together. Hopefully, will be a little bit inspiring for you, enriching. Yesterday was a special day. I don't know if you celebrated a little bit. There were two events yesterday that were important. One was from our Vaishnava calendar. I'll speak about that a little bit later. And one was a little bit more emotional, I could say. Maybe some of you know Ravi Prabhu. His Grace Radha Charan Prabhu is one of our beloved community members, and he left his body last week. And yesterday was his cremation ceremony in Eindhoven. For those of you who don't know him, he was very loyal, kind-hearted, very selfless man. Very practical, very efficient. I remember that if you ask him something, doesn't matter what it is, he will always say yes. Not even yes, he says, sure, Mataji, no problem. Like it was already arranged. So I would ask, like, can we have a book table here and there? He said, yeah, sure, Mataji. Can the Swami come? You arrange some event? Yeah, sure. When I say, okay, in 1 hour, there's 2 Matajis that need a place to sleep. Can it be in your house? No problem. They can come. I'll make prasadam. So he's very warm person. And just before Janmashtami, he got a heart attack. And then he was in a coma for 5 weeks. And he didn't wake up anymore. On the day of his departure, it's exactly 1 week ago, I believe now, he got a phone call by Radhanath Swami. He called him up and he prayed for him. He sang for him, and then he initiated him. And he gave him the name Radha Sharan, which means the one who's serving the shelter, or Radharani, right? Taking the shelter of Radharani. And a few hours later, he passed away. So it was very auspicious on the day that Srila Haridas Thakur also left this world. So it was very, very glorious. And yesterday we celebrated his life more than his passing. So in the beginning of every class, we sing Jaya Radha Madhava Haribol. And today I wanted to dedicate that to him because this song is sort of a window to the spiritual world, you could say. This song describes Vrindavan, it describes the relationships that Krishna has with the ones he loves. And so it's like when we sing the song, a little window to the spiritual world goes open. So if we do that today and we think of him, perhaps we can catch a glance of him somewhere in the spiritual world. So let's sing together. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopichanavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopichanavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Gopichanavallabha Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gaur Premanande Haribo. Okay, let's do some prayers first and then we'll start. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachare Shatarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Yeah. So we already spoke about one event that made yesterday special, which was the departure of Dada Sharan Prabhu. But there was another special celebration day. I don't know if someone remembers or knows. Yes, so Srila Prabhupada arrived in Boston, in America. So Srila Prabhupada is the one who gave us everything, right? He gave us the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gave us the philosophy, he gave us a lifestyle, he gave us association with each other, he gave us temples all around the world. And it all started actually yesterday when he arrived 60 years ago on the harbor of Boston in America. And his travel was not without any obstacles, I would say. Does someone know how long he was on this boat? A little bit much. 35 days in total. It was 35 days. But still, that's like 5 weeks almost, right? That's a long time to be in a ship. And it was not a cruise ship with a swimming pool and all kinds of shops. It was austere. It was the Jaladuta. If you check Radhadesh temple today and you see Prabhupada, they built a boat around him and it looks a little bit like the boat that he was on. And so he was there for 35 days on this boat, traveling all the seas towards America. And then actually on this trip, he had 2 heart attacks. So also health-wise, it was quite an obstacle for him. And there it didn't even stop because when he arrived in America, it was the coldest winter ever. I don't know if, who of you went to India before? Quite some? Okay, yeah. When you're in India, it's hot. It's warm. Very warm. So you wear like light things, sandals, nothing much. So Prabhupada, he arrived in these clothes in the coldest winter ever measured in America. Imagine that, huh? And then he came with, how many rupees did he have? Like 50 rupees or something? 40 rupees, which is maybe 50 cents, 80 cents, I don't know. Nothing, right? And then he got robbed. So the few things that he had, someone robbed it. And then when he became a little bit successful and he gained followers and he made temples arise, around the globe, then the hardships didn't stop because then the lawsuits came, people suing him or people scamming him out of his land and his money. And all the letters with complaints and troubles that happened in the temple came. And then his own health. So actually, it was a life of struggle. It was a life of obstacles, but glorious. He sort of teaches us how to make obstacles not into something that drags us down, but makes obstacles sort of stepping stone to spiritual growth. I thought perhaps that's a nice topic for today. We speak about obstacles as stepping stone to spiritual progress, a stepping stone to elevating our consciousness. Sounds okay? Yeah. So many people that come to spiritual life, many people escape, I could say, to spiritual life because the world is harsh, right? We encounter so many troubles in the world, and then people think, okay, I go to spiritual life, and then nothing is there. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Everything peaceful, love, harmony, amazing. That's what many people think when they come to a spiritual path. But may I ask you, you came to Krishna consciousness. In how many of you, troubles became more when you became Krishna devotee? Ooh. Only one? No way. You, yeah. So actually, we see that in spiritual life, suddenly when we come to spiritual life, we think it's going to be shanti shanti, but by reading, by hearing lectures, by going through the process, we discover so many things within our hearts which we never saw before, that are maybe not so pretty. And we see also things in other people reflected, because all these things that are said in lectures, it's not within me, it's mostly within the people around me. I can see that. And when we do seva or we try to work together, sometimes clashes and the communication is not working. So it's not that when we come to spiritual life, all the obstacles are resolved. They are still there. And actually, we saw that also in Krishna's own life, because Vrindavan, where Krishna came to when he was born, it was a peaceful city. It was nice little river, a few people with cows there, nice houses that they built, a few cows so they, milk them, they have enough. And then Krishna came to this village. And when Krishna came, all the demons came along with him, and every day he was fighting, and and he was himself also stealing and pranking all the villagers. So the moment that Krishna arrives in the village, it became worse and worse. No more peacefulness in this little town. So actually that shows when God comes in our life, it's not that he makes everything go away and everything peaceful and harmony. No, he makes things, loose. He's trying to, trigger us to grow. And so that's a topic I would like to discuss today. Actually, the obstacles that come into our lives, they are not really the problem. The problem is our mentality about these obstacles that is wrong. Often we have like a misconception about calamities or things that are happening in our lives. So I wanted to discuss 3 today, and it is that we often think, we have a misconception that obstacles won't come. When they come, we are very surprised that they arrive at our doorstep, right? So the first one is, we think they don't come. The second one is, if they come, we think they're bad, need to be removed immediately. They're negative. No. Not desirable. And the third thing is that there are some obstacles that are insurmountable. They are bigger than me. I can never overcome these things. They're like Himalayas in front of you. So these 3 things I thought we could discuss. Okay? So first a question for you. That is, raise your hand if this year you had problems with your health. We won't look around too much, just a sort of indication. Little high, if you had problems with your health. Okay. Yeah. If you have troubles, obstacles within your job, or not finding a job, or losing your job, something like that. Okay. If you had troubles with money this year, no one has any troubles. You raise your hand so we can see. Okay. If you have lost someone this year, that most of us, we lost. Yeah. So we see that these troubles, they come to all of us, or at least to our friends, or in our community, we encounter troubles. No one is without troubles, right? That is all of the True. So actually, we all know on some sort of level on the surface, we know that troubles will come to us. But when they arrive, we are still surprised. This is happening to me, or to happening to my friend, to my mom, So that shows that we still had another expectation at heart. So we might know, but when it actually happens to us, we see that we actually didn't really know. For instance, we saw it with our friend Ravi Shankar Prabhu, heart attack. We know that death comes to all of us, but when it actually comes so suddenly, we are all not prepared. So we know and we don't know at the same time. Same thing with war. We might think, yeah, wars, that's something that is happening in the Middle East, that's happening in Ukraine, but not in Holland. It will never happen here. But if tomorrow war it can all happen. We are surprised. But life gives us earthquakes. Just like an earthquake is unpredictable, it just suddenly happens. So we say we also have life quakes. Everyone has life quakes in their lives. They say approximately 5 to 10 of these quakes you have, that unpredictable, sudden events that happen to you, calamity. So who of you had already 5 of those? Five life quakes? Who had already 10? You had your quota for this life? Okay, so you're all prepared. There are a few more to come for you. So there's a beautiful story that shows us how we can find solace in God, in Krishna, when calamities come. Arthur Ashe? You know? Can you tell what he's famous for? No? Maybe it's a double name, could be. Huh? Also not? Nothing so artistic. No. He was a tennis player, actually. He was the first Afro-American dark-skinned person that won Wimbledon. And so he was super famous. He was top of it all. But he had a heart condition. And once this was quite acute. So he had to be rushed to the hospital and he had to get new blood. And this was actually an act of saving his life. People were trying to save his life. But when he came out of it, they said, okay, we saved your life, but we made a big mistake. We gave you blood that was infected by HIV. And so instead of saving his life, for the rest of his life, he was terminally ill. And so he did a conference where everyone could ask him questions. And there was this one fan of his that asked him, so how could God do this to you? Why did God do this to you? And he gave a beautiful answer to this. He said, well, on the planet, there are 500 million people who want to learn to play tennis. Out of this 500 million, there are 50 million people who actually learn how to play tennis. Out of those, there are 5 million that try to become professional tennis players. But out of those, only 5,000 actually make it. And out of those 5,000, only 50 or 500, they make it to a grand slam, to like a big tournament. And out of this 500, only 50 make it to Wimbledon, the most prestigious event. And out of those 50, only 2 are in the final. And of those 2, only 1 can win. And he said, and I won this tournament. But when I won, I didn't ask God, why me? So when calamities happen, why am I asking God, why me? I thought this was so beautiful, right? We only ask God, why me? Why is this happening to me when something goes bad? But mostly when something goes good, we don't ask God anything. So I thought this was a beautiful mindset to help us think about when calamities overcome us, how we could think about it. Chapter 8. Krishna is speaking to Arjuna and is explaining sort of how the world works. Says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. So he's saying every single place where you can be, every dimension within this material world, there's going to be misery and there's going to be birth and death. But still, somehow, we are expecting something different. We are expecting a life without any obstacles, without any problems. Why? Why? Why are we having different expectations? They say actually we expect a life without obstacles because there is, or without suffering, you could say, because there is something within us that doesn't know any suffering, that is resisting suffering. That is the soul. It feels unnatural for the soul to suffer because the soul doesn't know suffering. The soul comes from a place where there is no suffering. There is ananda, there is bliss. So actually, the way that we are fighting against obstacles comes from that we're actually having a nature within us that doesn't know this suffering. And that's a beautiful indication. That's the soul. So that was the first one. That we think obstacles will not come. And if they come, we're surprised. So a few tools to overthink when they come to us. The second one was that we have a misconception about obstacles, that we say they're bad. Once they come, they need to be gone as fast as possible. I don't want these things in my life. It's undesirable. It's stopping my progress. Ah. But actually, we don't really know at this moment what is good or what is bad for us. We think we know, but we don't really, because we are limited, right? We are limited beings. Our body is limited, our mind is limited, our capacities to distinguish what is good and bad is in that sense also limited. There's a nice story about a Chinese farmer. Have you heard this story? Farmer? There's actually a lot of stories. Maybe I take Bhagavatam. That's maybe for the Asasa. There's a nice verse. Let me get it in the 6th canto, where there's a king speaking. His name is Citralekha, and he's saying something beautiful. He's saying, he's asking actually, this material world resembles the waves of a constantly flowing river. Therefore, what is a curse and what is a favor? What are the heavenly planets and what are the hellish planets? What is actual happiness and what is actually distress? So he's asking, right, what is actually good? What is bad? What is heavenly? What is hellish? And his life of this king is a sort of example for that. Because he was a king, he had fame, he had power, he had everything, right? So he was on top of the world, he was happy. But then he didn't have any, how do you say, erfgenaam in English? Heir, like a son to inherit all of his wealth and all of his wisdom. Heir, yeah. So he was again sad. So what happened? The sages came and they blessed him that you're going to have a son. So, feeling happy again. But then they said, but he will be the cause of both your happiness, your greatest happiness, and your greatest distress. So again, fell down. But then when the son came, they were so happy. It was such a beautiful child. It was, a wonder that happened to him. So they were on top of the world. But then he had so many wives that couldn't get children, and only one woman, one of his wives, got this child. And all the other ladies, they got very jealous. So they made a plan to kill this child, to poison this child. So when the child died, again, he fell. But then the sages came, and the sages gave him beautiful life advice, which we can also read in the Bhagavad, beautiful wisdom, that he elevated his consciousness and he became sort of enlightened. So again, he was rising up. So his whole life, it went like this, right? Once I asked one of my teachers, I said, oh, life is always going up and down. She said, dear, life is not like this. Life is like this, she said. And I was like, oh no. She said, the worst is yet to come. But yeah, actually, we could ask, welcome. We could ask, why is Krishna doing this to us? Why is God, does he want us to suffer? Right? Why? You tell me. Why does Krishna bring us up and down, suffering, happiness, suffering? Why? Immediately very elevated. Oh, Yes, so there's a story in the Bhagavatam where Kunti, Queen Kunti, she prays for more suffering so that she can be closer to Krishna. So yeah, in a sense, suffering brings us closer to Krishna. Yeah. Other answers? Why Krishna take fun in us suffering, and then he puts these obstacles and problems in the world? No, he said Krishna put the sand in the sweet rice. Actually, this example was also I I wanted to say exactly this. But that's beautiful. Yeah. He used to say that like these obstacles and these problems, negativity is like pouring a little bit of sand in sweet rice. And when you see it, it looks amazing, but when you eat it, it's not that great. And he said, why is Krishna doing this? He's doing this because if he would give us a paradise and there would be no suffering, we would never come back. We would just be there all the time. So Krishna's giving us suffering is actually his grace because he wants us to come back to him. And it is the obstacles that we get is actually his love because he cannot live without us. So he wants to bring us back. The second one of the possibilities why suffering is in this world is to get rid of material attachments. Material attachments are really like keeping us in material consciousness. So there's this little story about a couple, man and wife, and they were in a boat. They were rowing. And it was stormy at night, and their navigation, it went out. So they were like, oh no, now we have to, we have to row to the shore so we can save ourselves. So for hours and hours, they were rowing and rowing and trying to get to the mainland. And then when the waves calmed down a little bit and the storm went away, their computer started working again. They saw we're exactly the same spot where we left. How is it possible? All night we've been rowing, 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 and still we're at the same place. How? Okay. Thinking? No. The anchor was still out. So they were rowing, rowing, but the anchor was out. So actually, this is our lives. When we have material attachments, it's like an anchor keeping us at the same place. So we can, even in spiritual life, we can chant, 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 chant. But if we keep material attachments, the chanting won't have the same effect. It's the 10th offense in chanting. The 10th offense against the holy name is to keep material attachments in your heart, even though you understand the philosophy. So if we keep material attachment, they are weighing us down. It's like our weight that is keeping us in this material world. So by giving us obstacles, Krishna is actually helping us by getting rid of these material attachments. And next to that, there's also a beautiful little experiment where you have two balls. In Dutch, we call it knikkers. Maybe some of you used to do it on primary school, knikkers, these balls. And you have two ways. One of them is going like this, straight. One of them is going like that. And exactly at the same time, you push them forward. Which ball is arriving first? At the end station. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So if we release two balls, the one in the straight line where nothing is happening, he actually arrives later than the one that's going up and down. Yeah, it goes down eventually, but this one is getting speed. Right? So actually, obstacles in the material world, they are helping us to get to the end faster because Krishna wants us back. So actually, then we can see that obstacles in our lives are not a bad thing. They're actually Krishna's gift for us, right? And then the third one. Some of us may say, okay, I know that obstacles will come to me. I know that problems will come and suffering. I know it. And I know that they also have something good inside of them, some lesson, something I can learn from. But I have some of these obstacles, these things within me that I can just not resolve. Some kind of mindset or desire or some obstacle that keeps coming back. No matter what I try, it feels like it's insurmountable. I cannot overcome this. There's a nice story that says something about this. It's about a king, and before, in these ancient times, all the people would come to the king with all of their problems, right? There was once a week, you go to the king, you go to court, and you either bring a present or something nice like a chicken or some crops from the land, bring something for the king, and then you lay your problems in front of the king. Because the king is responsible for everything back in the days. So even if your wife cheated on you, it was the king's fault. Or someone stole your cow, it's the king's fault. The king has to do something about it. So the king, at some point, he was thinking, oh my God, all these people come with all these problems to me. What do I need to do? I need to do something. So he came up with a plan. He told to all the villagers, he told them, okay, you know what? I'm opening a gallery, like an art gallery, with things. And you can come and you make the exhibition. You bring your problems and you show your problems to the world. This is going to be the exhibition. The whole village, you bring your problems, you put them on a screen or whatever, and that is going to be the artworks in this gallery. So everyone came to watch because they thought, oh, it's always nice to see other people's problems. As long as it's nothing to do with me, then it's good. So everyone came and they were looking at these problems of these villages and they were like, oh, you seen that? Oh, and that person is, oh my God. And you see that? So they were walking around. And after a good hour, they came out. And then at the exit, there was the king. And he said, yes, this was a free exhibition, but you have to pay an exit fee. Not an entrance fee, but the exit fee. I said, oh, what is it? So he said, you have to go back into the gallery and take one problem with you outside and resolve it. Ooh, so then the people, they walked into this gallery with a whole different mindset. And they didn't look at it like, but they looked at it, oh, now I have to solve it with a lot more compassion. So what did they do? What problem did they take? Yes. Actually, they came outside not with the easiest problem, but with their own problem. They all took their own problem. So often, when we don't have that experience, we think that our problems are the worst. This is like, my problems are much heavier than those of others, right? But this gave these people the insight that actually everyone has trouble, and I'm rather solving my own things than someone else's. And we have help. We have Krishna's help. We have God's help. There are some beautiful verses in Bhagavad Gita that show this. Actually, if we look at the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, one of the first things that Krishna says in the Gita, so not first chapter, but second chapter, where Krishna starts speaking, Krishna says something, and at the end, he says the same thing. And if he's saying something right in the beginning and right at the end, it must be something important. What is it? What does Krishna say? Do you know? Yes. So Krishna is saying right at the beginning of Gita, when Arjuna just put all his troubles on the table, then Krishna says, do not worry. And in the end, in Bhagavad Gita 18:66, he's saying, do not fear. He's saying the same thing, don't worry, because we have Krishna. This beautiful verse, I'll read it to you. It's 1885. No, 1850. 1858, yeah. I'll recite also the Sanskrit. Makchita sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi attachatvam ahankaran nashrosyasi naryankshasi. He's saying, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. However, if you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Beautiful, huh? So he's actually saying, if you become conscious of me, if you become conscious of God, of Krishna, you will pass over all the obstacles of this conditioned life by his grace. But if you don't do that, and you work through your own false ego, and you don't hear his words and take his words to heart, you will be lost. So actually, by his grace, we can overcome so many of these obstacles. They say that real peace is not the absence of problems, that is the presence of God. I thought this was so beautiful. Huh? The real peacefulness in life is not the absence of obstacles and problems and suffering, it is the presence of God. And then there's this running joke that often Keshava Swami uses. He says, don't tell God how big your problems are, but tell your problems how big God is. But we can even go a step further. There's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's giving us a sort of transcendental view. If we really elevate ourselves, he's saying something beautiful in Saranagati, so his prayers, his songs about surrender. He's saying the following: all the troubles encountered in your service shall be the cause of great happiness. For in your devotional service, joy and sorrow are equally great riches. Both destroy the misery of ignorance. So he's actually saying that all the troubles that I encounter while serving you, Krishna, God, they are the cause of the greatest happiness. Because in both my joy and sorrow, or actually in devotional service, both joy and sorrow, they are equally great because they both destroy the misery of ignorance. So here he's not saying, okay, we have to tolerate these difficult things that we run into in life. He's saying we don't just need to welcome them in our lives because they can teach us something, but we have to see the troubles and the problems in our life as the greatest happiness. That's a little elevated, huh? But why would he say such a thing? Why do you think he says that? Something? But why? Come closer to Krishna, we take deeper shelter, we begin to see Krishna's hand in everything. Also, our weak points are exposed. So we need to work on ourselves. We need to start doing something. And also, our tendency, why we came to this material world, is because we want to control things and we want to enjoy things. And when obstacles come, Krishna takes those things that we can control and that we want to enjoy, he takes them away. So he's taking that mentality also away that brought us to the material world in the first place. So it's actually helping us to immediately take out the root cause of our material disease, you could say. So I thought that was beautiful. And maybe to give some last points, things that we can actually do ourselves, because now we heard a few things about obstacles, how they happen to us all, even though we don't expect it, they happen. So we sort of begin to accept that. And then we see that they're not bad, but they bring a lot of good. And then we go further, we see that Krishna's grace is involved, and then what happens to them. But there are 5 sort of key things that we can do to help ourselves overcome obstacles in our life. So the first one is, and that we need to stay spiritually inspired always. We need to have some kind of inspiration, something that makes us fiery in the heart, something that we feel like, yes, by, for instance, reading, we find some points that really, trigger the intelligence. Or we go to a really great kirtan and then we can surf on that wave of kirtan for the rest of the week. Or we go and visit a new temple and we get so inspired, like, okay, that I want to do at home as well. So we need to be spiritually inspired in some way. That will help us to, when difficulties come, that we still have this inspiration within us and we throw that over the obstacle, and then be easier to continue in spiritual life. Second one is that we keep the mission, the goal, the purpose in mind. Because if we have a purpose, then you sort of have a lens where to look, and you're not distracted by the little things that are happening around you. When you have like a deep mission, a point on the horizon where you want to go, then it's much easier to overcome the obstacles along the way. And it's not just the bigger mission, like, okay, I want to be with Krishna at the end of my life, or I want to make everyone in the world Krishna conscious, but to also make it specific to who you are, like to find your mission within the mission. What is your strength? And that brings us to a third point, which is that we have to be situated in the right psycho-physical nature. So Varna Ashram and our Svadharma. So we need to be steady in our path that we're walking. It has to fit who we are. It doesn't have to be against who we are. So for instance, I used to be a ballet dancer before. And you could put me behind a desk, and I could do it physically and mentally. I could probably do it, but I'd be very unhappy because I want to move and I want to, be energetic. Because that desk work is not really my dharma, my svadharma, my path in this world that fits my nature and my mind. So we need to find that path, because if we're safe in that, if it's peaceful there, then when obstacles come, it's okay. It's easier to overcome because we're rightly situated. Then the fourth one is that we need to be emotionally connected. We need to have friends around us. We need to have people that we can rely on, that can tell us, come on, that push us a little bit, or that give us advice or tips, or take us by the hand and let's go, let's walk the path. So we need to be emotionally connected. And the last one is that we need to be regulated ourselves also. So regulated in our eating, in our chanting, in our prayer, in our sleeping. Because if that is already messy, then unsteady, then when obstacles come, it's easier to sort of lose yourself. But if you're steady and obstacles come, then at least you have that rhythm that you're in, so it's much easier. So those are 5. I hope you like them. 5 that you can take that help us to overcome these obstacles. And I would add a 6th one, and that is praying for Krishna's grace. And that is something that Prabhupada did when he was, actually how we started the class, when he was coming to America. He was praying to Krishna on the boat, and the day that he arrived at the shore, he wrote beautiful prayer. And I want to share that with you as the end. Some of you heard this poem before? Yeah? Some? It's a little bit long, but I think it's beautiful. And because today we're remembering also a little bit Prabhupada in that way, I thought it's nice to just say the whole thing. So he wrote half of it when he was actually on the boat traveling to New York. And when he arrived that same day, he finished the poem. So he's saying, "My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Krishna. I do not know how they will be able to understand it, but I know that your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? O Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have come under the control of the illusory energy by your will. And therefore, if you like, By your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I'm very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I'm seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or a failure as you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I've been designated as Bhaktivedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Haribol. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So those were a few things that I hope to share with you. So if you have any additions or things you would like to share, please feel free.
Well, thank you so much, Mataji. Obstacle topic was important. So I have one question about while chanting. If there is an attachment of Prasadam in Mahaprasadam, yeah.
Well, actually, attachment to Mahaprasadam association, those are kind of divine things, right? So they're spiritual attachments. They're not material attachments. Because the more prasadam you eat, the more you spiritually enliven yourself. You make every cell into spiritual DNA. So if you're attached to prasadam, no problem. You can eat prasadam as long as you're regulated. And but if we don't offer food or we are attached to things like meat, then this is a material attachment that is dragging our consciousness down. If it's prasadam and it's the light prasadam, an association, if it's spiritual association, then it's not really attachment, a material attachment, right? Because when you are associating with a spiritual person, they are helping you to open your heart, to receive Krishna, to talk about Krishna. So, no, that you mentioned are spiritual attachments. Someone else?
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. I was just thinking days where I actually got attached to certain suffering because it brings you elevate. Contemplating how can we that same found that need, that suffering. Grateful.
Jay, nice question. Beautiful. I don't know if I can answer it, but I'll try. And other people, please feel free to add things if you like. The one thing that I immediately sort of heard from the inside come up is Prabhupada is saying, chant and be happy. What's the difficulty, right? So Prabhupada, he always brought it down to very simple level, even though he had so many things to manage all at the same time. So many centers, like 108 centers all over the world, so many worries on his head. But still he said, chant and be happy. He brought that all down to like sort of one sentence. So he made things simple. And he said also, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple and complex for the complex. So I think if we try to simplify life, at least in our inner state, in our mind, then by doing the process, we can perhaps also see the changes on that level instead of always having to dig and dig and dig and dig and find newer things to worry about. Yeah. So that was something that I felt that if we, how do we chant, or you say how do we say, but yeah, it's a pattern that we can sink into, that we are. Maybe you were an acquaintance of Queen Kunti in your last life, and you're bringing that. But I think, yeah, an important thing is prayer and a sincerity of heart to wanting to understand how we can do that, how we can keep that process joyful, like Prabhupada told us, because his words have potency. So it is a possibility. We just have to find our way into that, on this, to walk on that same path. So I think, yeah, by sincere prayer, sincere heart, perhaps Prabhupada will reveal that to us, and also may reveal what is the problem that why that attachment keeps being there.
Yeah, I heard a short clip by His Holiness Radhanath Swami, who happens to be your Guru Maharaj. So I try to repeat it here about this topic of suffering. He was saying that there's so much suffering in this world, the sufferings of the body, the mind, universal practically. But then when we become Krishna conscious, normally we put ourselves as conditioned soul, we put ourselves in the center. You know, my happiness, this. But when we become Krishna conscious, then and Krishna becomes in there, then the suffering is transferred. It's becomes then the suffering you become. I'll send it to you. It's the pure devotion. Also, they suffer because out of compassion. They see the suffering of others and then they suffer that. But he said that is compassion. And then he said that is a spiritual ecstasy. We heard about, yes, we have to be compassionate and, you know, then you paradukkha dukhi. Okay. But then he said that's a spiritual ecstasy. I thought, wow, that woke me up. I thought, oh, that type of suffering is kind of enjoyable. So let me try to cultivate my compassion for others, not worry about my problems, but also not try to avoid suffering, because there is suffering. If we start to care about others, we may also, it hurts to suffer. But then that turns. Now, for that you have to ask Maharaj how that works. I'm not there yet, but I thought it's fascinating. We try to get rid of feeling bad and suffering, but even for the great souls, they're also suffering. But the quality of the suffering is different. So that gave me some. You pass the mic.
Yeah, there's one thing that you said that also made me think that I read in a book about mind, Manashiksha, something like that. You know this book? Manashiksha? Yeah, it was saying that what our heart wants is to experience bhav eventually, right? Emotion. So how we try and experience that in a way here in the material world is that our heart contracts and then it expands, and it contracts and it expands, and that's how we experience emotions. So as long as we are looking for that expansion and contraction on a material level, the world, we will find things that will happen to us, you know, that our heart will do that. But as soon as we try and find that in spiritual life, then the outside world doesn't have to force us anymore, because we have that in spiritual life, that bhav. And the same thing is was happening or was said in a different way when we were with Jayadvaita Swami in Vrindavan. And my Guru Maharaj Kanamakana Swami, he was at the end of his life. So I asked a similar question. You mentioned urgency, right? That you feel the urgency when calamities came. So I also asked him, like, now we feel the urgency of putting spirituality on number one, because, you know, we see our Guru Maharaj and he's leaving this world, so we put everything aside and it's just spiritual life. But after a few months or after a few years, then how can we keep that urgency in our hearts? And he said one simple thing, and I guess simple for the simple. He said, read. Because reading, it will bring us in touch with that knowledge and bring our consciousness to that level where we can grab that urgency. And when it is already within us, then the world, Krishna doesn't have to give us that urgency through the world anymore, because it's already within our own heart. And then he said, then things will become more peaceful in the material world. Yeah. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's start the Aarti. Haribol.
Haribol. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarti ko shobha. Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loba Jakine Nitai Chan Bame Gadadhara Nikate Advaita Srinivasa Chatradhari Vasi Ache Gorachan Ratna Singhasani Aarti Korena Brahma Adi Deva Gane Narari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Sugo Sadigaya Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Medanga Baje Paramarasale La Sala Paramarasala Sanka Baje Kanta Baje Madhu 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 Baje Shankha bhaje, Gandha bhaje, Madhu 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 bhaje. Hey, Gauranga. Shankha bhaje, Gandha bhaje, Madhu 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 bhaje. Madhu, 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 Bhaje. Na Madhu, 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 Bhaje. Shankha Bhaje, Gandha Bhaje. Madhu, 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 Bhaje. Madhu, 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 Bhaje. Madhu, 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 Bhaje. Nitai Gaura Hariba, 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 Hariba. Nitai Gaura Hariba, 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 Nitai Gaura Hariba. Nityananda Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Oh, Bol Koti Chanda Jini Vadana Ujvala. Gala Deshe Vanamala Gore Jalamala. Shiva Chukanarada Preme Gada Gada Deho Shiva Chukanarada Prem Gada Gada. Bhakti Vinada Deke Gunara Sampada. Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarti Kushoma. Jana Vitatavane Jagamano Loba. Jai Gaura Aarti. Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Oh, Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bolo, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Hari Hari, Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Oh, Jai Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Hey, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Bolo Krishna Prasthaya. Hey, Mate Bhakti Vedanta Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Nama O Vishnupada Prabhupada Bhutale Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Anivishesha Shonyavadi Pasyatya Deshatanine Namaste Hey Thank you yeah Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatanine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Shunyavadi Jaya Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bolo Bolo Shri Krishna Mahaprabhu Nityananda Ram Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Bolo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gauranga Nityananda Ram Hey Oh Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Everybody Hare Krishna Gaura Gaura Prabhu Nityananda Nitai Nitai Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Nam Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Jai Jagannath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Haribo. Govinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Ibo. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Bolo Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare. Gaura 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 Ne. Nitai Gaura 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 Hare. Gaura Gai Jaya Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaura Hari Jaya Gaura Hari. Kali Yuga Pavana Gaura Hari. Hey! Mayapur Chandra Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Mayapur Dham. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Bola bola. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. Hey. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. Jai Sachidananda Gaura Hari. Bolo. Jai Sachidananda. Ha, Jai Sachidananda Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Jai Ho. Thank you. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Kaliyuga Pavana Gaura Hare Ramaya Puchanda Gaura Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh, oh Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Bolo Rama Rama Hey Anita Gaur Haribo 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 Gaur Haribo Gauranga Nityananda Gaur Haribo Gaur Haribo Gaur Haribo Gaur Haribo Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai 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 Prabhupada 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada Oh Guru Premanande Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Stotra Satishiman His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON BBT Founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitulila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Astotar Sat Shri Srimad His Divine Loving Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Nam Acharya Srila Hariras Thakur Ki Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sat Goswamis Prabhu Ki Prem se kaho, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivas, Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Shri Shri Radha Gopa Gopinath, Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki, Rajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Radha Desh Dham Ki, ISKCON Amsterdam Dham Ki, Shri Karunanitai Gaura Chandra Ki, Gaur Premanande. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hari Bol. Simhaya
Namaste Inara Simhaya. Pralada la da da ye. Pralada la da da ye. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha. Shilatanka nakhalaye. Ito nrishimho parato nrishimho. Ito nrishimho parato nrishimho. Yato yato yami tato nrishimho. Yato yato yami tato nrishimho. Bahir nrishimho hirdaye nrishimho. Bahir nrishimho hirdaye nrishimho. Narat simhamadi imsaranam prapade. Narat simhamadi saranam prapade. Tava kara kamala vari nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hairi. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tava Karakamala Vaire Inakam Adbhuta Shringa. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Bolo. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Bolo. Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev, Jaya Nrisimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. नृसिम्हा भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna. Happy to see so many faces, especially a very old face. Santosh Prabhu is here. Hari Bol. Prabhu is from Suriname, and the best news is he will be here until December. So I think he does very nice kirtans, especially when he sings Nashing Aarti, we can fall asleep. Yeah, it's so nice, so melodiously he sings. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you all for coming to ISKCON Amsterdam Sunday Feast program. First of all, we would like to thank today's speaker, Her Grace Citralekha Mataji, for the wonderful class. Connecting us especially to the roots of Prabhupada and especially reading the personal letter, what Prabhupada meant. Thank you so much for bringing those very deep insights and also the practices that we can take. Thank you so much, Mataji. Big Haribola once again. Nice. And today's pujari is Her Grace Rajrani Mataji. Is done. And also we have regular pujaris also here. Our senior Muktidaji Mataji is here. And other pujaris are also here, like taking care of Gaurnita every day. They are cooking, taking care of them nicely. So to all the pujaris, loud Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Yes, and altar decoration, Mataji, who did? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So for altar decoration is done by again Rajrani Mataji with the assistance of Prana Mataji. So to those devotees, Hari Bol! Thank you, Prabhu. Any first timers here today who had come to a temple for the first time? Okay. So we just give this token of appreciation for the first timers. Very valuable books. Maybe someone can hand over. Ratimuj Mataji. You can just tell out your name once she gives the book. Haribo. Thank you. Thank you for visiting us, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So I think whoever had come here for the first time to get to know the schedules, we have the WhatsApp groups, which is kept outside the QR codes. Also, if you want to take part in any volunteer services, so we still have another group. So 2 QR groups are kept there outside. So please subscribe to that so that you get the regular updates, because we do so many programs, and especially Karthik is going to come, and we have so many tight schedules. We'll also be coming to individual homes, and we do the Aarti, we do Katha. So if you are interested, we can also host at your place. But first come, first serve, because already the things are getting reserved. So please approach us. We're going to share the details soon in the groups. Thank you. And today's Sunday feast is cooked by Ganpati Anna, Bhavya Mataji, Sachin Prabhu, Siddharth Prabhu. Anyone else? Did I miss? Namita Mataji. Then Rimpu Prabhu. Anchal. Okay, Anchal Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji. To all the group from Hope Darab, Haribo! Yes, and today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Kanish Prabhu and Vaidehi Mataji on behalf of their birthdays. So, Hare Krishna! So, shall we just sing Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna to you. May Radharani bless you. May Radharani bless you. May Radharani bless you. Hare Krishna to you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So likewise, we have many people sponsors for the Sunday feast, even if you are celebrating birthdays or any events, or if you are like just now one more couple also, one more family also approached. So if you want to sponsor like Sunday feast, you can do on their names, and the bhoga will be prepared on their people, and then offered to directly Gaurnita and then served to all the devotees here. It's so auspicious. So please approach us if you need more details on that. Thank you so much. And these are the only updates I have now for the time being. So if you need any other details, please approach us. We'll be outside. And we'll look for the last prayer, which we do generally. So we'll sing that small bhajan because we also need big place, and also for the welfare of everybody here. So let's meditate on these names. Jai Jai Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jai Jai Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jai Jai Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sham, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So we'll have Prashad here serving. So we'll make rows here for Prabhu's here and Mataji is there. And after that also, if you want, we still have kirtans until 7:30. There's so many kirtaniyas here. So it's for free, but please meditate on it. So so just stay back if you want until 7:30. Yeah. After the feast, you can also help in cleaning everything. If anybody is willing to help in cleaning, approach us. Sri Gaurnitai Gaurchandra Bhagavan ki.